British Grand Prix here at Silverstone, and there we have it. So, good evening everybody, welcome to F1 tonight. Apologies for the slight little technical difficulty that we had there. However, we are now on and in. So we'll be getting underway very shortly indeed for the start of this British Grand Prix here at Silverstone. And there we have it. Rain, and that is pretty solid rain, I'd say. So we'll be getting underway very shortly indeed for the start of this British Grand Prix here at Silverstone. And there we have it. Rain, and that is pretty solid rain, I'd say. Five lights. And they're off at the start of this F1 British Grand Prix here at Silverstone. Bit of a slow start there, Adrian VIII stays ahead. Seth Bogart in behind and moving now very close in behind. But look at that, John Donkel challenging there. Mickey Nisser gets up into fourth place. Mickey Nisser drops back into five. Gino Airshine, he's in sixth place. Damien Hartman, seven. Bashley Green's moved up 1, 2, and 8. Gino Airshine dropped down 1. Mickey Nisser's dropped down 2. John Donkel's moved up 2.
Good evening. Have we got time for more?
One tonight. So we'll be getting underway very shortly indeed for the start of this British Grand Prix here at Silverstone. And there we have it. Rain, and that is pretty solid rain, I'd say. Good evening everybody and welcome to F1 tonight. We are here for round 10 of season 5 and racing will be getting away very shortly indeed, so stay tuned. So we'll be getting underway very shortly indeed for the start of this British Grand Prix here at Silverstone. And there we have it. Rain, and that is pretty solid rain, I'd say. Five lights. And they're off at the start of this F1 British Grand Prix here at Silverstone. Bit of a slow start there, Adrian VIII stays ahead. Seth not in behind and moving now. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to F1 Tonight. We will be underway very shortly indeed with race 10 of season 5 at Silverstone. So we'll be getting underway very shortly indeed for the start of this British Grand Prix here at Silverstone. And there we have it. Rain, and that is pretty solid rain, I'd say. Five lights, and then so, good evening, everybody, and welcome to F1 Tonight. This is race 10 of season 5 here at Silverstone, and joined in the commentary box this evening, I am by, and I've got that completely the wrong way round, Adrian. Good evening, Adrian.
Evening, Eddie. Yeah, that was a bit hello.
It was a bit, wasn't it? I think it might have been. I think I might have to try again, but I think I will continue with the stream. Okay, so just to give you a little heads up about what's happening this evening, we are unfortunately down to 12 drivers this evening. As you know, F1 Tonight in its current state is a Dutch. It remains so. So we've got a number of drivers that won't be competing because it's actually holiday time in Holland at the moment. So quickly run through the drivers that won't be competing. We have no Marcel France for Red Bull, no Zander Hermans for Toro Rosso, no John Muss for McLaren, no Rob Muldrink for Sauber, no Martin Paardenkoper for Ferrari, and no Jamie Collane for McLaren. Reserve drivers, hopefully, that will be able to join us before we start the full race, hopefully will be Damie Hartman for Ferrari, Baz de Breen for Renault, and John Donkel for Renault. So let's do a quick little intro now into where we stand with the season so far. So, firstly, apologies for that there. For some unknown reason, we didn't have any sound on that clip, but we'll get that sorted out. So, championship at this moment in time. Damie Hartman leads the championship on 127 points for Ferrari. Seb Bogart for Haas is second on 118. Third is Rob Muldrink on 101 for Sauber. Fourth is Baz de Breen with 89 for Renault. Fifth is John Donkel, his teammate, with 83 points. Sixth is Marcel Dronig for Haas with 45. 7 is Nicky Visser for Mercedes with 45. 8, Peter Phillips for Toro Rosso with 38. 9, Marco Pullen for Force India with 35. And 10 is Guido Earshine for 34. Last 10, 11, Mark Stappers, Sauder Hermans 12, Boy Williamson 13, Martin Paardenkoper 14, Jamie Collane 15, Hans van der Berg 16, 17, Marcel France, 18, Miguel Tourney, and 19, John Muss. And bringing up the rear at the moment in the championship is Kevin van Delft on 20. So that's where we are at this moment in time with the championship. And we do have one of the drivers serving a penalty, and that is Kevin van Delft for Williams. So he will be DNFing in the first queue. We, at the moment, do only have 12 drivers, so the drivers will actually stay out for Q1, so they can get an idea of, well, hopefully get their setups ultimately sorted out, but they should have had that by now. But more importantly, what they're looking to do is hopefully try and see if they can make time for the reserve drivers to come in before the start of the race. So let's quickly go across to the race live now, and we are at the moment on track with Guido Airshine. So Adrian, it's been a good season so far, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. Yeah, I mean, you've mentioned actually a number of drivers not able to participate in this race. Of course, it's a national holiday in Holland at the moment. Probably most significant absence is obviously the championship leader, Damien Hartman. It's a big opportunity for the drivers, well, for all the other drivers to grab some valuable ground on him.
Well, yeah, that certainly is very true indeed. But the other one is Rob Mouldering. I mean, we still might be joined by Damie, although he could be coming in later in this session. Obviously, the important session here is going to be Q2 with those 12 drivers. So he still might make it. But as you quite rightly say, if he doesn't, it's going to be quite major. We also don't have Rob Mouldering. So in my opinion, if we don't have Damie Hartman, we don't have Rob Mouldering, we don't have Baz Badreen, we don't have John Donkel, that is going to give Seb Bogart a fantastic opportunity, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly an opportunity that he needs to be given. To be fair, he's double champion all on his own, and he's going to make up some valuable ground on those other drivers.
Yeah, well, he's currently only 9 points behind Damie Hartman in the Ferrari. So, if Damie isn't there, and that's why I think Damie is more likely to be there than not at this moment in time. So, if he isn't, though, it does give, obviously, Baz a great opportunity. If he is, then it should be an interesting, not Baz, Seb Bogart, great opportunity. If he is, then obviously Seb Bogart's going to have his work cut out for him. But with those drivers that are missing, it's going to give Nicky Visser and Marcel Dronig a great opportunity, isn't it, at the moment? Because they're currently sitting in 6th and 7th, respectively. Great chance for them to actually try and see if they can eke a few more points and get a little bit closer to that 4th and 5th places.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, as you say, they're 6 and 7 actually sort of tied for 6th place, both on 45 points. And yeah, they're both those are names that will, that we've seen at the sort of front of
Damie Hartman
races.
is in, mate. Just having a quick look here, I am actually on board with Damie at this moment in time. So he is in. And we do have Baz Breen as well. We don't have John Donkel at this moment in time. So John Donkel is the only one that's missing at this moment in time. Mark Stapper, Seb Bogart, interestingly, doesn't seem to be in. Or is he just not competing in this Q1, letting the other drivers get on? I think he's just letting the other guys get on with it at this moment, isn't he? He is in.
I think so. I mean, when it came up that he retired, I did see a yellow flag in Sector 3. I hope that's not sort of terminal damage
related.
Or something, 'cause that will mean that he won't be able to participate in Q2 or 3. But it might have been coincidental.
We'll see how that pans out, and hopefully we'll have. Obviously, that 12 drivers was not counting Damie Hartman, Baz Breen and John Donkel. At the moment, we do have 2 of them in, so that does mean that we are on 14 drivers at this moment in time. So, as I say, the guys, I think, are just going to let it run a little bit longer in Q1, and John Donkel is really the only man that's actually missing from the possible drivers for this evening. So hopefully he'll be able to make it in, because it will certainly make it for a very, very interesting race. This course, 3 sectors, and very well known course indeed. 18 corners, final corner of club there. It really is. I mean, I know it's the British Grand Prix, and obviously being Brits ourselves, we are going to big it up to an extent. But that's it. I mean, it really is. It is a great track, I have to say. Not just because it's brilliant, but it is a great track. It's got a little bit of everything, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. Yeah, it's one of my favourite. I'm going to sound completely biased now, but it is one of my favourite tracks, both to drive and to watch. Actually, I was lucky enough to see the. I mean, it's a while ago now. 2006 British Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Hamilton was in his GP2 days sort of back then.
Oh my God, there
But
are
yeah,
many people that wish he was still there, really. But I've got to say, I'm not one of them. I wouldn't say I'm a Hamilton fan as such, but I do respect him. You know, I was never really a Schumacher fan as such, but I did respect him.
yeah. I mean, there's no doubt both those guys are incredibly fast. But yeah, I mean, they have their fans and their people who are not their fans. But yeah, Silverstone is absolutely wonderful track, and it's had a number of significant changes over the over sort of the last 10 years. Where they've redeveloped it. They've changed sort of the old turn one used to be Cops Corner. It's now what's the name of the turn one now? I've forgotten. Abbey now.
Yeah,
And
that's right, because they changed the straight, because the straight was on what is now between turns 8 and 9, Woodcote and Copse, and it's called the National Pit Straight. That is where the pits were before the redesign, and it's quite a recent redesign. I think it was only in 2011, if I remember rightly, or thereabouts.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah, quite right. And I think this new version or newish version is I think it does make for sort of more enjoyable, more entertaining races. It's the track safety's come a long way since then as well, and yeah, I think it's a change for the better.
Yeah, I must admit I am somewhat inclined to agree with that. We'll run through the track in Q2. We'll go on board and go through the corners with you. But effectively 3 sectors. First sector is from the start to turn 6, which is Brooklands. That's at the end of the Wellington Straight. Then sector 2 is from that point round to turn 14, which is Chapel, as you're coming out of the Beckett's, the Baggett's and Beckett set of turns. You come around to Chapel onto the Hanger Straight. That is the start of sector 3, and that takes you then down to the start finish line. So 3 sectors, 51 laps, and it's going to be tough. I mean, certainly on that grid, coming into that turn 1, that first sector, round Abbey into Farm Curve, all those cars bunched up, and particularly once you get round turn 3 and 4 of the village and then the loop, and then round to Aintree to get on that Wellington Straight, it's going to be quite interesting, and I should think we're going to see a few cars probably going quite wide. In particular, I would say round turns 3, 4 and 5.
Yeah, I think you're quite right there. I mean, turn 1 at this circuit is a particularly fast turn 1, and it's those sort of first 3 or 4 corners that are kind of going to be the danger zone in the opening lap. Certainly, it's quite a tight turn 2, and I think we might see sort of one or two incidents perhaps.
Yeah, I think we're very likely to see that happening. So interesting. We've only got 3 drivers apparently qualifying in Q1.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not too sure what's happened now. I think they might have voted to abort Q1 because they weren't going to sort of effectively run Q1 anyway. It was just
an opportunity for the guys to join. Yeah, that's it.
That's
so
right.
I think that's effectively what's happened. Q2 will be the real measure of where we are. And as I say, what we'll do, we'll go on board just to get you familiar with the track for those of you that are not familiar with the track. Okay, so let's have a look at this, and we'll run through our runners and riders. We do actually only have 12. We do have 12 drivers, but Guido Airshine, Hans van der Berg, Mark Strappers, Damie Hartman is in, John Donkel is in, Peter Phillips, Baz de Breen, Seb Bogart, Marco Pullen, Marcel Dronig and Nicky Visser. Obviously that driver that disqualified himself, that 12th driver, is Kevin Van Delft for Williams. So in this Q2, what's going to happen? Well, we are going to take the top 10 drivers through to Q3, and then obviously drop the one driver yet to be nominated. And it looks to me like is that Marco Pullen is the first man out on track.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like it. And just for the sort of Bogart fans out there, yeah, he is able to participate in this race. So it wasn't a crash or something terminal in Q1 where we saw that yellow flag and his retirement.
Yeah, indeed. So we are on board at this moment with Marco Pullen. He's on his outlap. He is followed by John Donkel and then Hans van der Berg in the Williams. And a good return from Hans last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, yeah, he did fantastically well. Yeah, I mean, this is sort of his second stint, isn't it, with F1 tonight? He had an amazing original debut, got a podium, and then sort of left
Had
for a
a
while.
break
And
for a couple of races.
Yeah, and then sort of on his return, he managed to get another podium. And I think this is about his third race back now, isn't it, with Williams?
Second, I think it is second or third. No, it is his third. Sorry, you're right. Yeah, it is his third.
Yeah.
So we are on board, as I say, with Marco Pullen. What I'm going to do is once he actually gets over the line, I'm just going to go into cockpit view and then we can see the track as it goes. Interestingly enough, a number of drivers on the mediums and a bit of a mix there between the mediums and the soft. So it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out.
Yeah, that is interesting. I mean, you've got sort of half the field using one and half on the other. So yeah.
So Marco Pullen rounds. Indeed, round turn 1 Abbey, zone 2 Farm Close, coming into turn 3, which is the village hard right. You've got to watch this now, turn 4 the loop as you go left, go wide out to the right as you go left into Aintree, run that curb over. You've got the DRS point. You're now on the Wellington straight and you are coming up to the end of sector 1 into sector 2, and that's now as you come around the Brooklands turn. You again got the interesting turn 7, Luffield. Tricky turn that. You've got to be careful. And then on the exit of that, you come around turn 8, Woodcott, get onto the National Pit Straight, which is the old start-finish line. Round now, Cops, turn 9. It's a high-speed corner that, but you still got to take it a little bit easy. Coming down now into the interesting section, turn 10, into Maggots. Round 11. Into 12 now, Beckett's, and then round 13 into 14, exit Chapel onto the Hanger Straight, the DRS, to come down, or up rather, to turn 15, the right-hander of Stowe. Watch it, get over. Sure, he's not going too far to the right-hand side, into the left there. Come down now to Vale, turn 16, right, turn 17, hard right there. And then round turn 18 of Club, and on to the start-finish straight. And a time of 1:30.9 there set by Marco Pullen. John Donkel comes over and a 1:30.5.
Yeah, Hartman looking fast as well, actually. He should beat that.
Damien Hartman just coming round the penultimate turn now and around the final turn of Club. What is he going to do? Oh, look at that, 1:29.3. He's absolutely smashed it, as you rightly said there. So great time from him there. Hans van der Berg does a 1:47.8, so clearly he wasn't too keen on that one.
Sorry, Eddie, Droney quick as well. It's going to be impressive.
Well, Droney coming round the line now, and he sets, look at that, a 1:29.1 from Marcel Dronig in the Haas, provisional fastest time. That was very nice indeed there from Dronig, got to say.
Yeah, I'm impressed with that. That is, yeah, that's pretty good.
Definitely. So still to make a lap, and in the pits is Mark Stappers and Peter Phillips, although Baz de Breen is actually out on track at this moment in time.
Nicky Visser fastest in sector 1, just coming around the old start finish now.
So coming up to 9 Cops. I'm now going to go through the Maggots and Beckett section. Coming to the end of sector 2, and he's got the Ferrari there ahead of him I think of it's the only Ferrari. Damien Hartman just pulls over, so he gets now into sector 3.
God, that is a very good sector too.
Stowe.
I think this is gonna be top. Bogard quick as well, by the way. P10.
Now, interesting there, I think, is in that top 3 is Guido Airshine on those mediums. If he can maintain that, it's going to give him a real advantage for the start of this race. Look at that, Nicky Visser, a 1:27.8.
He's just smashed that.
He has absolutely smashed that. I mean, what's that? 1.6 seconds difference to Marcel Dronig. But again, not necessarily unexpected, obviously, as the track sort of warms up and you get a bit of rubber down, the tyres heat up as well. So we will see these times getting progressively faster and faster.
De Breen fast as well, actually. He's just coming around the sort of final corner now. He's purple first and second sectors. And third.
Look at that. And look at that. He goes a 1:27.7. So 1/10 faster than Nicky Visser.
Yeah, these are good laps now. Track is really starting to definitely warming up.
Now the question here is what is going to be that drop time, because okay, we've only got one driver to drop, but that said, we're in the 1:27s, 1:28s with the front 3, 1:29s in that midfield. I've got a sneaking suspicion we're going to be looking at probably around about the mid 1:28 for that drop.
Yeah, possibly. It's a bit difficult to call because, as you say, there's only one driver will lead this session, so I think it might be a bit of a slower time than that. I think.
Well, we'll see how it goes with regards to that. So Mark Stappers is currently coming round Copse, just about to enter the Beckett section, and he's how's he looking at this moment? He's looking fast, I have to say.
Yeah, it's a good first sector. It's good second sector as well. Probably it could be second row with this kind of time.
So he should be in the 1:20, mid 1:28s probably. Then you think?
Yeah.
Or low 1:29s.
Yeah, 28.5. I think I'm gonna try and call this.
I think it's going to be more. Oh, look, 1:29.1. So that does put him in the second row, P4. So only Peter Phillips in the Toro Rosso remaining to set a time. And he is coming round the National Straight now, round Copse. Sorry, no, he's not. He's only in Sector 1, actually. Where is he?
Yeah,
he's coming round Club now. Sorry, yeah, turn 4. So he's going to be getting onto the Wellington Straight. That was actually him coming round the actual start-finish line. So that was actually Abbey he went round. I thought it was looking a bit odd for Copse, but still. I'll go with that one. So he's round Beckett's now, coming into Luffield. And that Luffield turn is such a tricky turn, isn't it? When you're coming out of that Wellington Straight, you've got that left-hander there as you come out of that straight, which is Beckett's, and then you coming sorry, not Beckett's, Brooklands, and then you're coming round Luffield, and the exit of Luffield, you've got to really go tight in on that right-hand side, haven't you? And really watch the exit when you lay down the power.
Yeah, that's right. It's one of Luffield's one of those corners that's always haunted me in every game it's appeared in, and there's been a few. And to be honest, yeah, it's all about being patient. I think with the throttle, if you can just wait it out as you just sort of cruise around the corner, and you have got to be patient and just sort of gradually lay down the power.
And this is looking fast here from Peter Phillips. 1:30.3, not bad at all there. So that's 1:30.3. He's currently P9. John Donkel is in P10 with 1:30.5. Now, I was saying we're probably going to be looking around about the mid 1:28s, but it's not looking that way at the moment. And drop zone is that 1:30.5. So pretty close there between 9, 10 and 11 at this moment. Peter Phillips, John Donkel and Marco Pullen.
Yeah, actually, just looking at Pullen now, he's on for a good lap, actually. This is going to be third row at least. It's a good time.
Look at that, 1:29.3. So it actually puts him in row 4, provisionally P8 at this moment in time. So that is now starting to look a little bit closer to that sort of time I was thinking, although still a second off. It's low 129, so he loses it there as he came around the loop. Sorry, no, round, Village and then into the loop, turn 4.
Yeah, I think he might have been adjusting a setting on his car just as he calls the tyres back down on his in-lap.
Peter Phillips now making his way down to Stowe, and this isn't looking too bad from Phillips at this moment in time, actually. So the Toro Rosso driver here he's been showing great form in this season, and he's certainly improving as time goes on. And he sets a 129.8, so maintains that P10 position. And John Donkel is still in the pits. He's coming out on a set of softs. Now, we've seen all the runners, some come out on the mediums, and it hasn't worked for them. And everyone's reverted to the softs now, haven't they?
Yeah, I was just going to make a note about the tyres. We saw half the field using the mediums and half on the softs. But yeah, it looks like everyone has just gone on to the softs, with the exception of Guido Erschein. He's still on his mediums in the pit lane. But yeah, I mean, so Bogard has achieved a lap that's only 3/10 off of the fastest time, and he's done that on the medium tyre. So I expect him to be very competitive in this sort of period of Q2.
Yeah, Seb Bogart has gone on to a set of softs, but he did, as you rightly say, set that lap time on a mediums. So he's just getting himself keyed up in case he needs to come back out again. But I think it's going to be unlikely with that 128.0, got to say.
Yeah, no. I think he's more than comfortable with that. This is just a matter of just tuning his strategy. And there we go. He's actually coming in. So he's gone out for an outlap on the softs, probably to try and coax the other drivers to do the same, and alter their strategies while not affecting his own.
Also, he's just getting a little bit of the luster off those soft tyres, isn't he? I mean, that could pay dividends from him if he calls upon those during the race.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, sometimes it can benefit you to scrub the tyres, as they say. I.e., you just do a lap on them and come back in, just to get rid of the sort of surface coating. Helps the tyres to warm up a bit quicker during the race conditions.
Yeah, indeed, and it's a strategy that quite a number of drivers do employ. Damie Hartman coming over the line there. Doesn't better his previous time, but that was his outlap. This is the lap now that counts for him, so it'll be interesting to see how that Sector 1 time is going to look, and I'm sure Adrian is keenly on the ball for that one.
Yeah, it's slower.
it's slower, okay.
Slower in the first sector, unfortunately.
Okay, that's interesting, because obviously Damie, as we say, is leading this championship at this moment in time. I would expect him to be a little bit faster on the pace there.
No, there we go. It's just updated for me, actually. 27.8. That is a faster time than his previous first sector. It was showing a much slower time than that. Not sure what happened there.
Okay, well, he's in Sector 2 at the moment, just come around turn 9, Cops. He's into the Beckett section. What's your strategy for that section? I've got to say, I'm pretty much BA, so to speak, as I go into turn 13. And I don't tend to use the brakes. What I tend to do is use the momentum of the car and just drop the gears. So drop it down to third, round 12. Fourth round 12, and then third round turn 13 before I go into Chapel. And Daniel actually jumps out of that lap.
Yeah, I don't think I'll go as quite as low a gear as that, to be honest. I normally, with the sort of Maggots and Beckett section, so I'm coming into it in 8th, then down to 7th, then down to 6th, and down to 5th. Right. I'm normally doing me exit in 5th gear, going through Chapel.
Well, I'm just a lot slower.
I mean, that might be it. I might be part of it.
That's it. I just take it gingerly, you know. I was just saying that you drop down the gears, but
You,
but yeah, no, it's, I mean that is the way to do it. Really, is to just
yes.
not using the momentum of the car and the gear shift to bring you down to the speed that you need in order to take those corners. Really.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And Eddie, while you might not be sort of fastest on track, you make up for it with your quick wit.
Yeah, but unfortunately, wit doesn't actually get you up the
No, true,
the field. Unfortunately, I could try it, but I don't think it would work. That's why I'm in the commentary box and not in that driving seat.
Fair enough.
So it looks like John
Sorry,
Donkel's
Stappers.
dropped, doesn't it?
He has, yeah, and he has, and he won't be going back out. So he is not going to go through to Q3. Mark Stappers, on the other hand, currently P4. I think he's about to improve. He might go ahead of Bogard at this time, and he does.
Oh, look at that! Nice run there from Mark Stappers. He gets provisional third in this Q2. Now, he's showing really good form on this track. So let's have a quick look now at the result there. We know that John Donkel has been dropped, so he will be starting in P11. That's row 6, and alongside him will be Kevin Van Delft from Williams. So through to Q3, Guido Airshine for Force India, Marco Pullen likewise, Damie Hartman for Ferrari, Peter Phillips for Toro Rosso, Hans van der Berg for Williams, both Haas drivers, Marcel Dronig and Seb Bogart, Mark Stappers for Sauber, Nicky Visser for Mercedes, and Baz de Breen for Renault. And Baz still maintaining that top time there of that 127.7. He did that round about sort of mid-Q, didn't he? I'm quite surprised that didn't get beaten by anyone.
Yeah, he's done really well to get that sort of time, and as you say, it was quite sort of early in the session. He just had put in an absolute blinder of a lap. I have to note though, it is quite tight actually between those top 4 drivers. Only 3 tenths separate them, and I'm actually going to take this opportunity to try and call the pole sitter for this race. I think it might be Mark Stappers. He was only a couple of tenths off of the pole time. I know Bogard was he was only 3.5 tenths off on the harder tyre, but yeah, I think this might be Stappers' track.
Oh, I think he's certainly going to have a good race, certainly from what he was showing in that Q2. I am going to go completely left field, which is very unusual for me, and I'm going to go with Damie Hartman, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, championship leader. That could be a very good call. He was showing some real pace in that qualifying session. Definitely got more to give.
Yeah, I think he has. So Seb Bogart is the first man out on track in the Haas, looking to set his mark as early as he possibly can. Everybody is running on the soft tyres for this Q. And that is obviously the fastest tyre, medium is the middle tyre, and we have the hard tyre as well. Although, I don't know if that was going to come into play at all during this Grand Prix, I've got to be honest with you.
What the medium tyre?
The medium tyre, yeah. Well, the medium tyre will, but the, they haven't got they haven't got super soft on this track, otherwise they'd be on it. So it must be soft, medium, and hard.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's the hard tyre, the blue-walled hard tyre.
Yeah,
it does look quite nice, but it's not very much used on this track. I found from personal experience.
It just doesn't. You just don't seem to get. You can get the longevity out of it, but it just does not seem to have the grip. And I've got to say, the medium tyre is not. It's not too bad at all on grip in comparison to the soft. It is obviously the soft is the better tyre, but I think the medium will definitely come into play. I'm just not too sure whether the hard will come into play at all.
Well, the difference between as you say, the difference between the medium and the soft tyre is about 0.6 of a second, maybe 7 push, and it does last almost twice as long. Actually, I've found in the 50% races at least, it lasts twice as long as the soft tyre. The hard tyre, you can actually do the entire 50% race on that tyre from if you pit in lap 1. you can do the whole race. So I imagine it would transfer over to the 100% races, i.e. you can do the entire race on it. The only thing is it's almost 2 seconds a lap slower than the soft
Exactly.
tyre.
Yeah.
And yeah, you lose so much more time than you would lose from a pit stop.
The thing is, you don't actually benefit a great deal from it, do you? I mean, that's the thing. If it gave you an advantage, obviously longer on track, but as you say, because you've got that such a loss of time, it really sort of cancels out the what it could give you. In other words, effectively on the pits, actually, getting ahead of people on those pit stops, it just sort of cancels it out, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right. One other thing to note, it does actually have a much smaller operating window in terms of its temperature as well, and it takes absolutely forever to get it to that time. Speaking of time, actually, Bogart just
and look at that. Bogart just sets a 1:27.506. So that is the benchmark for this Q3. And Hans van der Berg sets a 1:27.856, so 0.3 off there. Baz de Breen 1:27.689, so just over a tenth of Seb Bogart's time, so he's looking pretty fast. Guido Airshine coming over the line now. He sets a 1:28.8. And Damie Hartman sets a 1:28.3. So he is somewhat off the mark there. He's, a good half a second off Seb Bogart at this moment in time. More, actually, 0.8.
Yeah, and he's some way off of his own fastest lap in the Q2 session that we just saw. Bogart's time, that 27.5, that is 0.2 faster than De Breen's time, the fastest time of Q2.
Yeah.
And he's just done a new purple first sector, so I think he's got another one to give here. Purple in the second as well. This is going to be even quicker.
Well, let's get on board with Seb Bogart in the Haas. Currently second in the championship, only 9 points behind championship leader, which is Damie Hartman in that Ferrari. So this is a very important race for both these drivers. It is effectively the halfway mark, and he sets a 1:27.0. Goodness me, that is fast. I mean, it begs the question, are we likely to see a sub 1:27 get into the 1:26 territory? We might well do.
Yeah, that's a significant gap over the other drivers now. Nearly 7 tenths faster actually than De Breen. I don't know where he's pulled that extra half a second from. That 27.5 was already pretty quick, but yeah, that's going to take some beating now.
Mark Stapper's coming around now, but I think that his time has been invalidated as he.
He's gone P2.
He has.
Gone P2,
Look at that. It hasn't been invalidated. 1:27.5. So he is 0.5 off Seb Bogart's time. I've got to say, because I was watching his exit as he was coming out of Stone. It looked like he went quite wide off the left-hand side. So I thought he might have actually lost that, but no, he didn't, and he sets a 1:27.541, so 0.5 off that time of Seb Bogart, and this is really very, very close at the moment between those top four, really, isn't it? I mean, Hans van der Berg's in the mix as well, isn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Don't write off Van der Berg as well. He's surely going to do at least one more hot lap in this session. Stappers though, that time is 27.5. He's matched Bogart's previous fastest lap in this session. So that would have potentially put him on pole position if not for Bogart's 27.0. And speaking of Stappers, actually, he's actually on a really good run of form lately in terms of his qualifying. Not so much in the races, but certainly he achieved his. It was the first time he'd started as high as P3 in Austria.
That's right. And unfortunately, he just didn't get the start he was looking for, though. That's what lost him that position, and he dropped quite a few positions. He just didn't get the right start for that race, but he was in that second row, definitely.
Yeah. As you say, a lot of it can be won or lost just in the start phase of a race. And I'm sure he's done plenty of practice of that since. and you know, we wish him good luck for this race.
Yeah, indeed. And Peter Phillips moves up to P6, row 3, with that 128.751. Nicky Visser is only just on his outlap, and I'll be interested to see how he does, because he left it quite late to come out onto the sessions. Only just over 4 minutes remaining. Should give him the opportunity to do one hot run, well, 2 hot runs with a cool down in between, I would have thought.
Yeah, there's still, I mean, there's 4 minutes left. Yeah, you can do a good couple of hot laps within that.
As he comes down round the final set of corners now into club, onto that start finish straight, and he's going to 127.9 was his provisionally. Obviously did lose that time in coming round, but this is the one that's going to count now. This is his this is going to be the lap he's going to be going for now, so it'd be interesting to see how he actually pans out. Damie Hartman, Peter Phillips still out on track, as is Guido Ershine and Marco Pullen, so both the Force Indians out there at this moment in time. We are running on board with Nicky Visser in the Mercedes. A very competent driver, Nicky, and he showed some great form certainly in the start of this season. Unfortunately missed out on a couple of races due to other commitments, and that did drop him down the championship ratings, but not a driver to be discounted by any shape or form, is he, Adrian?
No, absolutely not. We've seen him lead races, and you know, he's notched up a few wins last season as well. And yeah, he's definitely one to watch here. Although his first sector is 2/10 off of his own personal best. Good second sector though. This might be a recovery. I think either way he'll be wanting to do another hot lap after this.
Well, I think we might possibly see him get up maybe into row 3, and
Droney.
would...
Sorry, Eddie, Droney with a big improvement as well in the first stage. In fact, lots of drivers now really improving their times.
Yeah, and Nicky does get up into row 3, P5, with a 127.956. So that did equal his previous time, unfortunately, which wasn't obviously counted because he went off track there. So that does put him in that 3rd row at this moment in time. Let's go on to Marcel Dronig now, as he comes onto the hangar straight into that
big
3rd
improvement.
sector.
Big improvement. Meanwhile, De Bruyne's just gone purple in the 2nd sector, and a really good 1st sector as well. He could knock Bogard off of that top spot.
Okay, well, we'll flip to Baz De Bruyne once Marcel Dronig completes his lap. He comes round onto the straight, moves him
Droney's
up into
7th.
row 4, P7. Let's go now to Baz De Bruyne as he comes round Cops.
Oh, he's lost it in the seconds. In the last
sorry,
sector,
he's round
actually.
club now, round into turn 3.
27-2, he has improved his time. He lost quite a lot of time in that last sector though. So yeah, he would have been on for pole.
Oh, Stappers goes off! And he's into the wall, takes out his front wing. Fortunately, doesn't take out his front wheels. That was really very fortunate indeed. And he lost it as he was coming round Farm Close. Well, actually, he was on the exit of turn 1, Abbey, as he was coming into Farm Close. Lost it, went careering straight towards the barriers, wiped out his front wing there, and he's not going to be able to recover from that now. He's only got 30 seconds, so he's going to be hoping that nobody betters that time for that 2nd row P3 position for him.
Yeah, he's just pushing so hard. While that happened, actually, Bogard improved his lap to a 26.7, so we have gone sub 27. De Bruyne still looking to improve on his time, obviously trying to get under that 27.0 mark. And he's in. No, he's slowed down in the 2nd sector.
Yeah, I think everyone's pretty much where they are at this moment in time. I was just running on board with Nicky Visser, but he didn't strike me as if he was going full tilt. So I think this is how we're going to see it. I don't know. I could be wrong there, but
yes, yeah. No, this is it now.
Yeah, that is it, because he's just coming into Maggots now, and he's just on the minute, so he's not going to be able to better that time. So it looks like Seb Bogart takes that pole position with his former teammate Baz de Breen alongside him in that front row. Then in the second row we have Mark Strappers in the Sauber. Alongside him will be Hans van der Berg in the Williams. Row 3, Nicky Visser in the Mercedes. Alongside him, Damie Hartman. God, that was a bad call from me, wasn't it? I was hoping that, well, I don't know. Yeah, it's just one of those things. But Damie Hartman, row 3, P6. Guido Airshine, row 4, P7 in the Force India. Marcel Dronigby alongside him in that Haas in P8. And then row 5 will be Peter Phillips in the Toro Rosso, and Marco Pullen will be alongside him. Now, this is going to be interesting because, correct me if I'm wrong, but Baz did set his time in Q2 on the medium tyre, didn't he? And Seb on the soft, if I remember rightly.
I think it was the other way around. I think Seb
was it the other way around?
on the medium tyre. Yeah. Seb started on the medium tyre. He went on to the soft.
Yes, that's it. And he did scrub them, didn't he?
He coaxed everyone else. Yeah, he coaxed everyone else to sort of start thinking about using the soft tyres, and some of them did.
Now, Seb Bogart, if he's going to be on the medium, it's going to be a little bit tricky on that start for him. Baz de Breen, I think, might well have the advantage on that start, and also being in P2, he's going to have the advantage when they come out of Abbey round Farm Close, isn't he? So that grid position 2 is actually not a bad one to have.
No, that's right. That's right, and it is all going to well, not all going to depend, but a lot of it will depend on the De Breen's start, and Bogart's start as they pull away. So it's just going to be down to who can get the most traction on that phase.
Indeed. Well, this is F1 tonight. You are joining us here for Season 5, Race 10, the Silverstone British Grand Prix. And our runners here in the top 10, Seb Bogart's P1, Baz de Breen P2, Mark Strappers P3, Hans van der Berg P4, Nicky Visser P5, Damie Hartman P6, Guido Airshine P7, Marcel Dronig P8, P9 Peter Phillips, and P10 Marco Pullen. So all these drivers very competent indeed. Let's not forget we've got John Donkel in P11, and in P12 will be Kevin Van Delft in the Williams. We've already discussed, obviously, Seb's going to be starting on those mediums, and Baz de Breen will be on the super soft. So it's going to be an interesting start. But Mark Stappers, obviously, he had a bad start last week, and as you say, he's more than likely, if not, well, I should say definitely been practicing those starts. So I'm wondering if he's going to be looking to get off that line very quickly indeed, and he will certainly come into play. I am absolutely certain of it.
Yeah, we'll soon find out sort of exactly how much practice he's done in terms of his starts. But yeah, I mean, there's really impressive stuff from Strappers. Yeah, that's his second consecutive P3, and that is his best qualifying ever, I think. Certainly since I started.
Well, last week, didn't he? He started P3 as well, didn't he? Last week.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah, he's got.
Oh,
he's
yeah,
got
his best. Sorry. Yeah. He matched. Last week was his best ever. This week he's matched that once again. And let's not forget Hans van der Berg as well, because he's in the mix there to do some great qualifications, and he's been delivering pretty well in the races. Maybe this is the one for him this week here at Silverstone. Who knows?
Yeah, it could well be. I mean, I said don't write him off, and it's not easy getting top 4 in this league, and he's managed to do that in quali. Keep an eye on him for the start of the race.
Definitely keep an eye on that man. So Seb Bogart in the Haas leads the way. Second, Baz de Breen in the Renault. Row 2, P3, Mark Stappers in the Sauber. Alongside him will be Hans van der Berg in the Williams. And this is very interesting to have those two guys there in that row 2. But even more interesting, I think, is going to be that row 3, because we've got Nicky Visser in the Mercedes in P5 and Damie Hartman, current championship leader, alongside him in P6. these guys are not going to be looking to hang about on that start either, are they, Adrian? And they're going to be looking to charge it. And Nicky's pretty good on the starts as well. He's pretty fast, isn't he, off the start?
Yeah, he does tend to sort of get away quite quickly, and some would consider both of those drivers actually sort of out of position on that third row. Obviously both good. Well, they've certainly got the potential to be further up. Certainly the championship leader.
Indeed. And then we have row 4, Guido Airshine in the Force India. Alongside him, Marcel Dronig in the Haas. Row 5, Peter Phillips in the Toro Rosso. Alongside him, Marco Pullen in the second Force India. Then row 6, we have John Donkel in the Renault. And bringing up the rear is actually Miguel Tourney. I said it was Kevin Van Delft, but Kevin Van Delft is not out. And Miguel Tourney is actually in. So we didn't see that earlier on in the queue. So Miguel Tourney in the Red Bull is in, and that is our row 6 P12 position. So the drivers now getting into position. As we get ready for the start of this race. Oh no, we've got
Boy Williamson,
and Jamie Collane as well. Okay, fantastic. So we've got quite a number of drivers there. The lights are coming on. 3, 4, 5, and we are off for the start of this F1 tonight. Silverstone Grand Prix Season 5. And already, look at this, Nicky Visser moves up into P4. Oh, Mark Stappers drops down, Hans van der Berg drops down, Nicky Visser's up into P3 as they're coming round farm into turn 3 now, Village. And yes, Seb leads the way, Baz de Breen is behind him, Nicky Visser then brings up there, then Hans van der Berg, he's got back up to P4, Damie Hartman up to P5, gets past Mark Stappers gets back past him again, Guido Airshine up to P6, Damie Hartman dropping right down now to P8, up now to P7 as he gets past that Marcel Dronig in the Haas. Oh, this is so close now as they're coming round Luffield, coming into Woodcote, and some real fighting going on there for P4, 5 and 6, isn't there, Adrian?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely amazing start from Nicky Visser actually up to P3 just in the first couple of corners. Hartman was sort of battling with Mark Stappers actually coming round turn 3. Went around the outside of him. It was no contact, but it was just sort of pushed out to the outside of the corner. Just lost some ground, and he had a couple of drivers overtake him. Back up to P6, which is where he started.
He has, but Guido Airshine is ahead of him. He's
make the move on Airshine.
Silverstone now. Looks like he's going to try and make the move. And he does. Makes it stick round Stowe. Gets back up into P4. Up one more position to P5. Guido Airshine, though, moved up 1 to 6. Mark Stappers. He's just not able to get the advantage on that grid position. He's dropped down to P7. Marcel Dronig stays where he is. John Donkel's up 2. Boy Williamson is up 4. Miguel Tourney up 1. Down 3, Peter Phillips. Marco Pullen is into the pits. He's got damage on his front wing. Rob Muldrink is not in the race, as we know. So, yep, that's it. We have 13 drivers. So, Seb Bogart now still leading the way, but he's got Baz de Breen only 7/10 off the back of him. Nicky Visser just over a second, 1.3 seconds behind Baz de Breen at this moment in time. But Mark Stappers looks like he's closing in on Guido Airshine, doesn't he? Look at this.
Yeah, he's well, Airshine's not really defending his position sort of too much. He didn't put up much of a fight against Hartman as he overtook round Stowe, and Stappers may get the move done on him, and it looks like he's going to do it.
Yep.
Side by side.
Oh, they're side by side as they're coming. Oh, dearie me, into maggots there. And Stappers drops down. He's dropped down. He's got some damage there. Okay, so apologies there for that little interruption in the stream there, but unfortunately we had a situation where the stream froze. But we are now back and live with this race. And let's get a quick little refresh as to where we are. Seb Bogart is in that first place. Baz the Breen, though, is only 2/10 off the back of him as they're coming round in Sector 2 now.
Constant
Brand
purple
Luffield
sectors from
into
De Bruyne.
Woodcott. Nicky Visser is still in that P3 position, but he's losing time. He's down to nearly 2 seconds. Damie Hartman, P4, and he's nearly 6 seconds behind Nicky Visser. Hans van der Berg, he's in P5. Guido Airshine, P6. Marcel Dronig is in P7, but close on the heels of Guido Airshine, as is John Donkel and Mark Stappers and Boy Williamson. And I think this is what you're referring to, unfortunately, when we had to pause the stream. There's a real midfield battle going on here, isn't there, Adrian?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, I mean Williamson's started to right at the back of the field here. He's made his way up to P10, and yeah, he seems to be capitalising on the battles that are going on ahead of him. He's at the back of this little group of 5, or a sort of train of 5 cars, and yeah, I think he's just biding his time. It will make the move when sort of something happens ahead of him.
Well, I'm just doing on-board cockpit views at the moment with P7, 8 and 9 and Boy Williamson there, and these guys are line astern. As you say, Boy Williamson already moved up 4 places, started in that P14 position.
De Bruyne still just will not let go of the back of Bogart's car. It looks like it might be. Oh, he was eyeing up the move into Woodcote.
Brooklands, as they're coming
Brooklands,
around
sorry.
Luffield
Brooklands.
now. Yeah, it's all right. There's so many turn names, you tend to forget them. But they're just now coming onto the national pit straight, and Baz de Breen was very much breathing in the fumes from that Haas without any doubt at all. And let's hope they didn't have too strong an effect on him. But he's jogged down a little bit, but he was right up close and personal to Seb Bogart. And I just want to quickly drop back down again, because Marcel Dronig at the moment is only 3/10 off the back of Airshine. John Donkel's 5/10 off the back of him, but Mark Stapper's 4/10. Boy Williamson just under the second there, and he looks like he's just staying with this group just to see what happens and trying to figure out what's going to be his best route through there at the moment, because he's got 3 very close, fast drivers ahead of him, and he needs to get past them.
Yeah, he's the back of this sort of quite long DRS train as they're coming up the hang straight, and yeah, I think he's partially biding his time, but ultimately he won't want to sort of sit behind him for too long.
No.
Yeah, because his tyres will burn out that much quicker as he's relying on the mechanical grip of the car more than the downforce, and secondly, he'll be losing time to the drivers that are sort of where he wants to be, up at the front of this pack, up at the front of the race.
John Donkel's really getting very close indeed to that Haas and Marcel Dronig. I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to be looking to try and make a move down that Wellington straight, but he loses time as they come round that turn for the loop, and that, I've got to say that it can be a very tricky turn, but when you've cracked it, you've cracked it. It's one of those sort of turns.
Yeah, lots of time can be sort of won and lost there. So Stappers actually goes a bit wide in around Luffield.
Yeah, they're on the national pit straight
a bit
now.
Sideways.
Real battle, definitely still in this midfield going on. And Baz de Breen, he's still there with Seb Bogart. He's 4 or 5/10 off the back of him. Nicky Visser now, though, he's nearly 3 seconds behind these lead drivers. So, yeah, I'm wondering how that is actually going to pan out. And let's have a quick look at the tyres that these guys are on. So, Seb Bogart, as we know, he's running on the mediums. Baz de Breen is on the softs, as is Nicky Visser and Davey Hartman. Then we've got Hans van der Berg on the mediums and Guido Airshine on the mediums. Now, if it stays like this, Seb obviously will maintain that lead, but we could see Hans van der Berg moving up to provisional P2 and Guido Airshine provisional P3.
Yeah, Yeah, you're quite right. Yeah, they will ultimately move up the field as the drivers in the softer tyres do come in. I'm just keeping an eye on the battle for P1 at the moment. I think the pressure is working for Baz Green. I can tell that from the ERS difference between the two cars. Bogard is being forced to sort of use quite a lot more of his engine to stay ahead than De Bruyne is. I think this is surely if not a matter of time, then it would be just surely a matter of tyre wear if Bogard is able to sort of maintain P1 on the harder tyre.
Well, Mark Stapper's picking up a 3-second time penalty there. Well, the soft should run, well, the projected time from Pirelli is 20 laps. So I would suspect that we should see these guys coming in for their pits. Could be late teens, but certainly early 20s. So we're going to see them coming in probably within the next sort of 10 to 14 laps. So there are still 10 or 14 laps remaining with this. The question is can Baz get past Seb with the advantage that he's got on those softs at this moment in time? He's got enough time to do it, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, certainly. And even if he doesn't, the fact that he's still just there, it will be sort of playing on Bogard's mind as he's gone defensive into turn 5.
Yeah, and he is very defensive as they're coming round Luffield and into Woodcote. He is really trying to hold that line and hold Baz Breen off. They're on to the National Pit Straight now, and they're coming up to turn 9 Copse. That fast right-hander. Good exit on there, and Baz still on his tails. They're coming into Maggots now, into Beckett's. Round.
Bogard's gone
Seb
wide.
goes on the dirty side there. He's got DRS, and
This
it
is
looks
it.
like Baz Breen's going to make the move on him before they get to Stowe. They're side by side coming into Stowe, and Baz Breen makes the move, gets ahead of Seb Bogart, and takes that P1 position.
Great stuff. You can almost audibly hear the crowd actually as Breen makes the move just before Stowe corner. Yeah, that was it. That was I think that might have been one of the defining moments of this race.
I think you could well be right there. Now, Baz Breen, he needs to get the air between him and Seb Bogart now. He really needs to get pedal to the metal because he needs to try and take full advantage of having that P1 position at this moment, because at the moment he is at a disadvantage by the fact that he's on that soft tyre.
Yeah. These next couple of laps, or next sort of 5 laps or so, are going to be crucial. He will need to sort of make the absolute most of his tyres while they are sort of at their peak. This is it. This is his opportunity now.
Well, he needs to get as much clear air as he can. And Miguel Torni picking up a 3-second time penalty. And let's quickly go down to that midfield. John Donkel has got past Mark Stappers, and indeed Marcel Dronig's dropped down as well. So Mark Stappers P8, Marcel Dronig P9. Guido Ehrschein maintaining that P6 position, but he's now got that Renault looking at him, and I'm sure he's in John Donkel's sights, isn't he?
Yeah. Also, this little train of cars has got a little bit longer with Pete Phillips joining the battle behind Boy Williamson.
Indeed, Boy Williamson's still stuck though, isn't he? In that P10, he can't really get past these guys. He can't figure it out. He's a bit stuck there, isn't he?
Yeah, the difficulty for Williamson is that because he's at the back of this DRS train, he's getting DRS on guys that have also got DRS on guys that have also got DRS. So it becomes very difficult to make the pass down the Hangar Straight as everyone's sort of slipstreaming each other. The only driver that they are catching, if you like, is the one at the very front of this little train, rather than each other. So yeah, it's difficult to make the move.
Now, I've got to say, at this point in time, we're on lap 10 of 52. We know that the soft can certainly go, oh, look at this. And actually, Marco Pullen is showing on the hard tyres. No, I've only just seen that. I've got to say.
I meant.
And he came in lap 3, and that's when he had that nose change. You remember I said he was coming in and he had to get a new front wing. He must have gone onto the hards then. I've only just spotted it though.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. I mentioned it while while we were actually off air with the sort of glitch or whatever happened to the stream. But yeah, he pitted onto the hard tyre when he changed his nose. He's looking to do the entire race now on that tyre.
Well, that is going to be very interesting indeed, because that could very much come into play as time goes on. Now, what I was going to say though, Boy Williamson, he's stuck in this train at the moment. The only way he's going to break it, and I think it's going to have to be something, I don't know if he's even considered it, he needs to pit early and go on to a set of those mediums, if not a set of hards. I don't think the hard is the right move to make. I think he needs to pit and go down to a set of mediums, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Try and do an undercut on these guys.
Absolutely. Yeah, you often find that the best way to get past a group of guys who you may feel are perhaps slower than yourself is to certainly pit earlier, do the undercut, and that way you can race to your full potential in clean air while the others are battling, and ultimately when they come in you will be ahead on track.
Yeah, and I think that's something he's going to need to do very, very soon. Even if he gets past Marcel Dronig, and he's only 3/10 off the back of him, but then Marcel Dronig is only 2/10 off the back of Mark Stappers, and Mark Stappers is still under that second to John Donkel, and John Donkel is only 7/10 off Guido Ehrschein. So this train goes on and on. It's better than British Rail.
Very good, quite right. Boy Williamson's actually just gone past Droning actually around Luffield, I think that was. So he has snuck through.
He has got past him, but he's still got these 4 guys ahead of him, and he's going to struggle to get past them. I would say, look, come in now, get onto a set of mediums, give yourself some clean air, do the undercut on these guys, and finish the race on those softs.
Yeah, it's almost like he's making his way up the carriages of this train, but he's got himself stuck in the buffet cart.
Yeah, he's just sat at the bar, isn't he? Yeah, definitely. Well, if anyone's watching, and boy, if you're watching this stream, you're going to have a bit of delay. Come in, get on a set of mediums, mate. That will help you no end. But that equally applies to be fair, any of these guys between P10 and P6, doesn't it? Well,
yeah.
Or rather P10 and P8, because the medium's already on John Donkel P7 and Guido Ehrschein P6.
Yeah, they've certainly got the advantage actually, as John Donkel's made the move on Ehrschein.
Oh, look at that! He makes the move
into 5.
Yeah, gets ahead of him.
It was a good move.
So
Outbraked him.
John Donkel makes the move as they were coming round Aintree onto that Wellington straight with that DRS. Gets past that Force India, and now he's opened up the valves, hasn't he? Look at that. So
yeah, great stuff from John.
He's chasing down Hans van der Berg, and I've got to say, Hans van der Berg, good race from him so far. He's dropped obviously, but still in that P5. He's only dropped down 1 place. Damie Hartman has got ahead of him, so he is now up to P4, but he's got 5 seconds still to Nicky Visser. Nicky Visser, he did close down that gap to Seb Bogart, did get it down to under 2 seconds, but it's creeped back up again to just over 3.
Yeah, I think that's as a result of Bogart getting good DRS from De Bruyne, good slipstream as well. We've seen it here. Actually, he's coming down the not the back straight, but just into
the Wellington
into turn
straight
5
as
again.
they're coming into Brooklands.
Wellington straight, that's it.
Yeah,
Wellington straight. And it's. I think Visser will ultimately find himself getting that bit closer as Bogart's and De Bruyne's tyres should, in theory, wear out a bit faster than his own, because they're fighting each other and he's fighting no one.
Yeah, that is very true, but Seb Bogart isn't letting him get away, and it is critical that Baz needs to get some clear air. As I said, once he got past Bogart, but Bogart is not giving the opportunity to do so. He's staying close and personal, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, Bogart's doing all he can to stay within, well, stay within DRS really of Debris, and he's doing exactly that. I think at this point, I'd say it's still advantage Bogart. He's managed to mitigate the effect of Debris past him. I think Debris may have lost his opportunity to get away.
I think you're right there. I think you're right, because he is just not giving him the chance to make that break, and that is critically what he needs to do. Nicky Visser is into the pits.
Visser in the pit.
So Visser is coming off those softs. He's done 13 laps on them. So he is in. Hans van der Berg comes round the final turn. He takes that P4 position. John Donkel coming round now. Now this could be close. No, John Donkel will have it. So John Donkel moving up to 5th. Guido Airshine.
Tawny spun. Tawny spun in sector 2.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just at the start of the old start finish.
So Nicky Visser actually comes out in P10. And now, interestingly, he's gone on to another set of softs. So he's going to be looking to try and get the jump on those soft runners ahead of him, and very possibly the mediums as well. So this could be interesting.
This may be a podium-winning strategy from Nicky Visser. He's had clean air ahead of him in that first stint. He's now got clean air ahead of him in this stint for the most part. And yeah, he'll obviously go on to a set of medium tyres at around lap 30-ish, which will comfortably do the rest of the race. And in theory, that could be another clean air stint, which will, I think that will work very much in his favour. I expect him to get a podium out of this.
Well, while we were having that conversation, Seb Bogart made the move on Baz Debris on the exit of Stowe, and he's got ahead of him again.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is that's as a result of Debris' tyres just losing their peak now. He's going to want to come in probably sooner rather than later. I think Debris should probably pit in this lap, in fact.
Well, Seb Bogart made the move, as I said. I'm not too sure if it was into Stowe on the exit of Stowe, but he certainly made the move in that final sector on Baz Debris, gets ahead of him, and is starting to pull away from him, actually, which is very interesting indeed. So clearly, I mean, as I said, Pirelli say they should go 20 laps, but under full fuel load and obviously this close racing, I think we're going to see these guys coming in within the next probably 3 or 4 laps, all the soft runners.
Yeah, they should do really. You might find the more stubborn drivers want to try and eke that little bit more out of the tyres, but I often find that an undercut works much better than an overcut.
Yeah, absolutely. Now at the moment, Guido Airshine, he's sitting in P7 on those mediums. He should certainly at least move up one place as when Stappers comes in. Stappers
Debris in.
Ahead of him. Debris is in. Yeah, so Debris is into the pits. Damie Hartman coming round now, and he will take that P2 position. Hans van der Berg is coming round Stowe now. I'm not too sure actually whether he will actually move up to P3 and Debris come out behind him. It's going to be very, very... No, Debris is out of the pits. Well, I don't know, actually. It's going to be close. Debris is coming out. Hans van der Berg is on the straight, coming round turn 1. Abbey now, and he is ahead of Baz Debris. And John Donkel, I think, will be as well, and Mark Stappers. So, Baz Debris is coming out in P7. So, oh no, this is interesting. He's got Boy Williamson behind him.
Well, that was that was important for Debris to get ahead of him. He'd have liked to have been ahead of the other 2 drivers.
Oh no, he doesn't. Tries to make the move round Aintree, doesn't make it stick. Baz Debris stays ahead of him, but he's got the DRS on that Wellington straight as they're coming into Brooklands. Round Luffield now, and Boy Williamson, this is critical for him. He needs to get past this Renault, otherwise it's going to be game over for him.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's more important for him to not get too far behind Ershine. Obviously, they're on different strategies, but neither one has come into the pit. You could say effectively De Bruyne's not part of this race with him.
No.
But De Bruyne needs to set some really fast laps now on the medium.
He does, and he needs to do it very convincingly indeed. So he's gone on to a set of medium, so he should assume that P1 position again, but it's going to be a little while before it does. So as many moves as he can make on track is going to be absolutely critical for him. Guido Ershine is now in P6, and he is riding on the coattails of Mark Stappers in that Sauber. It's going to be tricky for him though, because they're on equally old tyres, but Ershine on those mediums and Stappers is on those softs, but we know that he's going to be losing traction, and this could give Ershine the opportunity to get past him. He's within 5/10 as they're coming round turn 5 Aintree onto that Wellington straight. They will have DRS, but I don't know if he's going to be able to make advantage of it before they get into Brooklands.
No, no, I don't think so. But yeah, Stappers tyres, they are wearing out as we're seeing with the other soft runners. I think Stappers would benefit from coming in, as would in fact Damie Hartman as well. He's
Damie Hartman is
in P2.
In P2.
He is gaining, to be fair. He's gaining on Bogard. He doesn't have traffic, so perhaps it is a better strategy for him to stay out.
Yeah, the question is though, how long can he stay out? I mean, I would say he's got certainly.
Oh, he's in.
He's in now. Yeah, he's in. I didn't think he was going to be able to stay out too much longer. Okay, so Damie Hartman will now miss out on that P2 position. Hans van der Berg will assume that P2 position, and John Dunkel up to P3. So those medium runners now, it's really coming into play for them, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's gonna. Oh, this is. I was just watching the Stappers actually getting a bit sideways through club, but yeah, it's gonna. This is going to be the crucial moment now for the medium runners. They need to set some fast laps while the soft runners have come in and are now behind them.
Well, Mark Stappers does still stay out, but he's now got Guido Ershine. Well, not now. He's still got Guido Ershine breathing down on the back of him there, and Ershine just doesn't want to take the risk and try and make the move. He's alongside him though. Oh, I said he didn't want to take the risk.
Contact?
Round Brooklands, side by side into
Don't think there was
Luffield.
contact.
But I think that Stappers will have the advantage on that exit as they come out of Woodcote and onto the national pit straight. And there was me saying that Ershine didn't have it in him to make the move on track, but he is. Look at this, and he's trying again now as they're coming into Copse. Oh,
yeah,
Ershine's
lost
gone
it.
off. Oh, nearly lost the car there on that exit of Copse. I've got to say, that was well regained, wasn't it? He could very easily have put that into the barrier there.
Yeah, he did so well to regain control of that at Force India, but yeah, it's a shame. It is a shame because I'm sure he was getting more and more frustrated. I think by this point it sort of had enough of being sort of behind him, just staring at the back of the Sauber. As actually he's come into the pit now, so perhaps if he'd been a little bit more patient, he could have and he's in himself.
Well, they're both in the pits now. Stappers will be ahead of him. Winners on that though. Nicky Visser has now moved up to P5 on that lovely fresh set of softs, and that's it's working well for him, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. He's been I wouldn't say lucky, but yeah, he's not had to sort of contend with those two drivers that we just mentioned. De Bruyne as well. He's benefited from that, from them both coming in, because he could have found himself stuck behind them for considerable time, and all the while losing gains on Bogard, who he is ultimately racing.
But Damie Hartman, he's gone on to those medium tyres, and I've got to say, projecting forward, that's looking good for him because it looks like he's on a podium. He's certainly looking good for P3 for the sort of latter half of this race at this moment.
Yeah, slightly different strategy from Hartman to some of the other drivers that we're seeing. Yeah, he's the first one to have gone on to the medium tyre. Sorry, second one to go on to medium tyre. Green's on medium now. Yeah, I think this. Yeah, we're going to see sort of the next 20 laps or so, sort of how this works out for him. I don't know whether he can do a one stop. I think he's going to have to come in again for the soft tyre.
Yeah, I think
But
he's
I think
definitely going to have to
most
come
people
in
will be
again.
doing two stop.
He's definitely going to have to come in for that soft tyre, but I think he's probably going to come in round about, depending upon where he places, he's going to have to come in round to about early 40s to mid 40s, I would say, because these tyres will certainly take him there.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, I don't know if he'd want to sort of use them that much when when the soft tyre will be available, and you could do. He could come in at lap 38 and only have to do sort of 14 laps on the soft, which is better than doing 14 laps on the medium.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely spot on. You're quite right there. So we've had the first stint, effectively, of those pit stops. Where has it left us? Well, we're on lap 52, 32 laps remaining for this F1 tonight. Silverstone British Grand Prix here for season 5. Race 10, we're halfway through the championship, and it's quite a critical race points-wise as it stands at this moment in time. Seb Bogart is second in the championship on 118 points. If he maintains this, well, it's going to bring him much, much closer indeed. Damien Hartman is in P6 at this moment in time as the championship leader, but I don't envisage that's going to be as soon as he's in position. I am projecting that he should be finishing, if he maintains this, I would think, on the podium P3. So he will still be leading this championship, but Seb Bogart will be eking out that lead more and more. Hans van der Berg is currently in second place in the Williams, and I've got to say, he's definitely. I mean, we expect from what we've seen from him in the early part of this season, but he sticks to it, doesn't he? He works hard, sticks in there. You haven't seen him get involved in any incidents, and there he is now in P2.
Yeah, got a lot of respect for Van der Berg. He's a very quick driver, very determined driver, and yeah, he's totally totally worthy of that second spot. Whether he'll be there at the end of the race, it remains to be seen with the sort of what's going on with the other drivers. But yeah, I mean, he hasn't really put a foot wrong this race.
No.
One little thing I just want to note, there's been a little switcheroo of the Renaults, a bit of team orders coming into play just after Copse Corner on lap 20. Donkel on the older medium tyres has let his teammate past.
So he's let his teammate Baz de Breen through, and I was going to say, because Baz de Breen moved up obviously to P3 now, and John Donkel, his teammate on the older set of the mediums, is currently in P4. He's got Nicky Visser only 7/10 off the back of him on that much fresher set of soft tyres, and Nicky really needs to take advantage of those, and he can't count on those pits now. He needs to make these moves on track, and he needs to get past Donkel.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he's been setting some really fast laps while he's had the clean air, Visser. Now he's got some dirty air in front of him. He needs to capitalise and make the move. Make the move on Donkel was on the very old medium tyres. I just want to something else I want to mention. Actually, Bogart just got another 3-second penalty. That's 6 seconds now for Bogart. This is all working towards De Breen winning this race.
Yeah, and look at this. Nicky Visser easily makes the move on John Donkel on that Wellington straight with a DRS.
Donkel very late on the break as well.
He comes into Brooklyn. Well, Donkel is trying to defend as much as he can, and you can do that, certainly as you're coming around Brooklands into Luffield. But Visser, just stays ahead, gets a little bit on those tyres, but stays ahead of John Donkel. But John Donkel is right on his gearbox as they come round Copse. Very nearly went into the back of that Mercedes there, didn't he?
Yeah, I think Visser was hoping he'd wouldn't have him quite as close in his rearview mirror after the move, but yeah, he's fighting very well, Donkel.
Definitely, considering he's on a 21 lap old set of mediums, and Visser's on a 8 old lap set of softs. That's very good indeed. But Visser clearly got the better straight line speed, but John Paul seems to have it into those corner sections. Let's see if he can catch up now as they come round the final 3 corners before they start lap 24. As he comes round Club now onto that start-finish straight, and Visser's convincingly pulling away now. So Visser is
Bogart's
now
in, by the way.
starting to pull away.
Bogart
has come into the pits and out.
Visser's
and gone
passed
into
him.
A fresh set of softs, and Visser has got past him. Yes, now that is important. That is important for Visser.
Wow. Well, yeah. I mean, we saw Visser setting some absolutely phenomenal laps, sort of one after another, just immediately after his pit stop, and that has paid massive dividends because he's ahead of the effective race leader after both drivers have pitted.
Yeah.
Really, really great stuff from Nicky.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we said, didn't we, when he went onto those softs, we looked at it and went, okay, this is going to be interesting. And he's delivered on that, and it now has put him up into provisional P3. But I've got to say, he's looking pretty good, definitely on that podium finish. He's got Hans van der Berg, who is now leading this race. Obviously, Seb Bogart came in. He was in first. Hans van der Berg was in second. So he is on 22-lap-old mediums now, coming for 23, and that's when Bogart came in, because I think Bogart were 23, weren't they?
Yeah, that's right.
22
Bogart's
coming
just
on
past Visser,
23.
by the way.
Sorry?
Bogart's just past Visser down
he has.
Bogart's past Visser down the hanger straight, yeah.
He's got past him on the hanger straight. So
I think the reason why Bogart's come out fourth rather than second ahead of De Bruyne, I think Bogart may have gone a little bit too deep on the medium tyres, or was just pushing them too hard, because he lost some significant time, but he's gaining it all back on these soft tyres though.
Yeah, he is gaining it back, and he has now made the move back on Nicky Visser. I think Visser's going to be disappointed with that. They're coming past the back marker there of Miguel Torni in that Red Bull as they're coming into Brooklands and round Luffield now. But if you're in Visser's position, what do you want to, you want to get back past that Haas, don't you?
Yeah. At the very least, you want to sort of just remain within DRS, so that when you do come in, you can do another good stint. Although Visser's got to go onto the medium tyre, he started the race on the soft, gone onto another soft, and he's going to have to do a medium stint at the end. Bogart started on the medium tyre, so he can get away with another soft stint after this one.
Well, the question is now, we know that those mediums can go 23 laps. We've effectively got, 27 laps remaining. I'm wondering if Visser came in on the next lap, or possibly the end of this lap, he could go on to a set of mediums that would take him to the end of this race, and that would put him back in play, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's certainly a viable strategy, and then he can hope that Bogart's soft tyres do wear out much quicker as he's fighting with De Bruyne, as he ultimately will be shortly.
Well, Seb Bogart is in P3 at this moment in time, ahead of Nicky Visser. Baz De Bruyne P2, and Hans van der Berg, as said, leading the way, and he's happy to be leading the way. He doesn't want to come in, does he?
No, he doesn't. He seems to be getting the absolute most out of these tyres. I'm not seeing any sort of significant drop in his times. He's coming down slowly but surely, compared to the other medium runners. But he's eking every last bit of grip out of these things.
Yeah, he's got De Bruyne now breathing down his neck as he comes into Maggots. Obviously, De Bruyne will have that DRS as they come out of this section of turns around turn 14, Chapel, and I'm sure he's going to be looking to try and make the move on Hans van der Berg, but van der Berg gets through that sector a lot cleaner, I've got to say, than Baz De Bruyne. They're coming up to Stowe now. They are side by side as they come round the corner, and can De Bruyne get past? Yes, he does, as they come down now into turn 16 Vale, round turn 17 and round Club, but Hans van der Berg is not going to let it go easily. He's got DRS now on Baz De Bruyne as they come round turn 1, round the right-hander of Abbey into the left of Farm Curve. Slow down, slam those brakes as they come round the village, round that hard left of the loop. Oh, he loses it on the exit there. That's it now. He didn't have the grip, lost it. And now he's dropped past over that DRS point to Baz the Breen. That surely is the signal to come in, and he's got Seb Bogart now on his gearbox.
Yeah, and I think De Bruyne will be hoping that Vandenberg can give Bogart a little bit of a hard time and not just sort of let him past, even though they're on sort of totally different strategies. The fact that he's even there in front of him, but you can see the gap between De Bruyne and Bogart opening up just because Vandenberg is between them.
Look at this, Seb Bogart closing down. He's going to make the move on Hans Vandenberg. Easily on that hanger straight before they get into Stowe. And surely Hans Vandenberg has got to come into the pits now. He doesn't want to leave it any longer. Yeah, Hans Vandenberg is into the pits. Seb Bogart up to P2. Nicky Visser will now move up into that P3 position. And John Donkel will move up to P4. The question is Damie Hartman here? Now, Damie is just coming round round Luffield now. No, sorry, he's on the start-finish straight. Sorry, I do apologise. I thought that was a bit behind. So Damie Hartman will get that P5 position. Hans Vandenberg coming out. So Hans Vandenberg will stay in P6. Damie Hartman moves up to P5. John Donkel, P4 in that Renault. Nicky Visser, P3. Seb Bogart, P2. Baz de Breen, P1. Bringing up the rear at the moment. Boy Williamson, we missed that. Boy Williamson went out.
I did see a yellow flag.
Yeah,
I was trying to see
he
who
went
that
out
was.
on, looks like lap 24. So Boy Williamson, DNF. That's rather unfortunate. Sorry to see him go there. But, well, such is the way, I suppose, ultimately. But that still leaves one Mercedes in play, which is Nicky Visser. So let's see what happens there. Miguel Torney in the Red Bull is currently P12. Marco Pullen still in that P11 slot on those hard tyres. And this is what we were saying earlier, wasn't it? I mean, yeah, the hard tyres will see you through to the end of the race, but you just lose too much time. It doesn't give you the advantage that you think it should.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it doesn't always pan out. I mean, Pirelli with their 7 different tyre compounds don't always sort of make the right calls really in terms of what ones they make available at each track. But yeah, the hard tyre is just one of those that will, as I say, do the entire race, but at what cost?
Yeah, definitely. So Marco Pullen in that P11 position. Peter Phillips in the Toro Rosso. He's in the points in P10, and he's looking pretty safe there. Marco Pullen's 21 seconds behind him. He's got Mark Stappers 7 seconds down the road to him. They're on more or less equally old set of medium tyres. So he's looking pretty good for that. Stappers is in P9, as I said. P8, Marcel Droney. He's on a 15-lap old set of mediums, but he is very much riding the gearbox of Guido Airshine at this moment in time, isn't he?
Yeah, he's doing well to maintain that gap, actually. Bearing in mind he's on older and harder tyres than Airshine.
Absolutely, Airshine's on a 9-lap old set of soft tyres. So he's definitely doing well there, certainly. And we project he's probably got about another 8 to 10 laps left on those mediums, obviously, as the tyre race goes on. The fuel load lessens, the weight lessens, and it gives you the opportunity to run the tyres that little bit longer. We are now on lap 29 of 52. And, well, over halfway, we've got Baz de Breen in that Renault leading this race. He's got Seb Bogart, though, only 6/10 off the back of him. Nicky Visser is in P3. He's 4 seconds behind these guys. John Donkel is in P4. Damie Hartman is in P5. And, well, not too sure how that's going to pan out. I don't know though. He could still come into play. He's on a set of 11 lap old set of mediums. He could still get into that podium, couldn't he? Quite easily looking at this, actually.
Yeah, it's certainly not completely off the cards. I think Nicky Visser is probably the favourite for that P3 spot. It's just because of his sort of brilliant strategy call. Although the final stint for both of those drivers is going to be rather interesting because Nicky will be on the medium tyre, whereas Damien will be on the soft tyre. So that will be his opportunity to fight for that podium.
It's definitely going to be critical in this final phase of this race as to how these guys pan out. And I agree with you. I think both Nicky Visser and Damie Hartman are fighting for that third place on the podium, and it's going to be pretty damn close.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, just keep an eye on that. Nicky Visser actually sent some really quick laps now in P3. I can't really tell if he's actually making up ground on the ground. I don't think he is. He's about 10th. Well, he's only a 10th down.
He's gained a little bit. I think he's gained maybe
lap.
a couple of tenths, or maybe 3 tenths on the previous laps, but that's probably pretty much about it, actually. Just going to go on to Mark Stappers in P9 in that Sauber at the moment. He's closing down to Marcel Dronig in the Haas as they get onto the start-finish straight now, and he's been progressively eking that gap out and closing down. I would suspect he's probably got a couple of laps before he actually gets into a position where he could make a move in him, because Marcel Dronig is battling out, trying to see if he can still get past Guido Airshine, and I think that's given Stappers the opportunity to close up to them.
Yeah, that's a good shout actually. Yeah, I didn't realise those two were battling quite so much. Yeah, Stappers could make the move because of that fight that's going on ahead of him between the two former teammates, I believe, weren't they? Both at Renault.
Yes, they were both at Renault for season 4 and were indeed teammates. So they got a pretty good feel for each other's style of driving, and Stappers now is just over the second. He's now gone under the second as they're coming through Maggots and Beckett's, and I think he could be looking to possibly challenge Dronig actually on the start-finish straight.
Yeah, he could do. Meanwhile, Nicky Visser's actually coming to the pit. He's coming perhaps a little bit earlier than I would have anticipated him.
And
but he's onto the medium tyre. Yep. Yeah, he had to because he
did actually. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Well, he's got 21 laps remaining, and he needs to make it work for him. Now, the question is when is Damie Hartman going to come in? Because Damie Hartman's going to have to go on to those, he's going to happily, I think, go on to a set of softs, isn't he?
Yes, he is. I think he's certainly got a few, well, practically he can do quite a few more laps on these medium tyres. As actually Miguel Torni's just off track there. It's on the gravel. I can't tell where that is. Yeah, so practically he can make these tyres last, but realistically he won't want to. He want to get onto the soft tyres as early as reasonably practicable to do so. Just to make up the ground.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. And I'm just on board at the moment with Damie Hartman, closing in on John Donkel, who's on a 30-lap-old set of mediums.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I don't know how he's achieved that, but it really is.
Well, I'm pretty sure that Damie will be able to make the move, and then once they get onto the Wellington straight, he's still not come in. He's going on his 31st lap. They're coming round the loop now and into Aintree, and I'm sure that Damie will make the move on this Wellington straight. He's got the DRS, nicely slotting in behind there. pulls alongside, gets ahead of John Donkel, takes that P3 position. But again, John's not giving up, is he? As they come round Brooklands, he did this earlier on. He is just not giving up. He did it with Nicky Visser, and Visser just managed to stay ahead of him, but John is no way giving up. I mean, he's on 31 lap old set of mediums, for God's sake.
Yeah, that's some fight he's giving the Ferrari there. Bearing in mind his tyres are twice as old as the car in front of him. And he's on a determined one stop. He's the only driver that seems to be.
He's got DRS on Hartman. Can he make the move on him before they get into Stowe?
Oh, unbelievable!
Look at this. He's side by side. He's going to do it as well. Yes, he does.
Who
gets back ahead of Damie Hartman. He had the DRS as they were coming down the hangar straight. And I'm thinking Hartman's got to be sitting there thinking, geez, what have I got to do?
Yeah.
He's got DRS on him now, so he's start finish straight. Gets ahead of him, all this side by side.
I don't see many passes there.
Side by side.
And he's still not giving up.
He's still not giving up, John Donkel. Look at this. Damie Hartman gets past him finally as they come around Village. They're going around the loop. But is he now going to come back? Is John Donkel going to come back as they come out of entry? No. He's too far away. But look at the wear he's got on those medium tyres. The inside of that. I'm surprised. He's got to watch it because he's very likely to get a puncture. All he's got to do is run on a bit of rough ground, go off slightly, and he could quite easily pick up a puncture. Surely he has to come in now. There's no way he's going to close down that gap to Hartman now.
Yeah, no, I don't think he'll be looking at closing the gap. He just wants to do maybe one or two more laps just to be comfortable on the soft tyre, so he doesn't have to push that quite as hard as he's pushing this medium tyre at the moment. I've got a question for you, Eddie. Do you think John cares that Damien Hartman is leading the championship?
No.
No. Absolutely not.
Is the straightforward and simple, and he stays out. You're right. He's going to be staying out for at least another lap or two. No, he really doesn't care. But again, we saw him doing the same with Nicky Visser a few laps earlier. I mean, John is super confident on this Silverstone track by the looks of it.
Yeah. Well, we saw his amazing confidence at Spain as well. He was battling Damien Hartman then, if you remember. He was on the medium tyre, and Hartman was on the soft, and he just could not get by him. He couldn't.
It was a real battle. I mean, he can't. He's been delivering a lot better, certainly in qualifying. Donkel. His racecraft's always been there. Qualifying has always been, I think, his weakness, but he is doing far better on that, certainly this season. And then by doing better on the qualifying, he's putting him in a better position on that start grid so that he can maintain those places. Because we saw him sort of round about mid-season 4, and certainly towards the end of season 4, there was huge amount of sort of progression. And he said himself, he had his mojo back.
Yeah, it's really good to see. It's so great to just watch a driver who is full of confidence, and I mean that's absolutely phenomenal fight between these two, and he's still not giving up even now. 33 laps old, these tyres.
He is not giving up in any way, shape or form, nor is he coming in. He's staying out still. Now I just want to quickly scrape down to Marcel Dronig, who is still behind Guido Erschein, and Mark Stapper's behind them, and these guys, they're in that sort of that DRS stuck phase, aren't they, by the looks of it?
Yeah, it looks like, well, we saw it sort of about 20 laps ago, didn't we, that DRS train, and it is really difficult.
It is so
really difficult to pass someone, who is also got DRS.
Yeah, it definitely is. So they're stuck in a bit of a train there. It's Mark Stapper's, Marcel Dronig, and Guido Erschein. A good, strong race, I've got to say, from Guido. He's maintained that midfield position. He's had quite a lot of challenge. He's kept his head and just stuck with it and holding that P7 position at this moment in time.
Yeah, you wouldn't have thought that we saw him go off track at Maggots. Just 10 laps to go, whatever it was, 15 laps to go. Yeah, no, he's done very well to recover from that, both in terms of the car and sort of mentally as well, because that can affect you just going off track.
John Dunkel picking up the 3-second time penalty. I think that's the signal for him to come in, but he's still out there. He's still within DRS of Davey Hartman, which is super amazing, I've got to say. Nicky Visser, he's in P6.
He's in now.
And, yeah, John Dunkel coming into the pits now. 34 laps old, those softs. Now that's going to release Hans van der Berg, Nicky Visser into 4th and 5th respectively. And we should see John coming out in P6, just ahead of Guido Airshine. Probably, I'm not too sure how many seconds ahead of Guido Airshine. So, Damie Hartman, as we know, he's up in P3. Now, he is round about a pit stop window between him and Seb Bogart at this moment in time. We know that he's going to have to come off those mediums. Question is, when is he going to come off those mediums and go onto those softs? And he's only got 16 laps remaining. Surely he must be coming into that window to make that work for him.
Yeah. At this point in the race, bearing in mind there are, as you said, 16 laps of it left, it'd be the ideal time to come in now for the soft tyre.
Well, we'll see how and whether he does do that on that. He's just coming to the end of Sector 2 now, and comes around Aintree into Sector 3. And yeah, if you had
Breen fastest lap.
Look at that, 1:31.1 from
Has he done that
Breen.
21 laps old, his tyres.
21 lap old mediums, yeah. But as I say, those mediums, they are good. Yep. Well, Damie Hartman stays out for at least another lap, and he feels that he can make that work for him. And Stapper's picking up a 3-second time penalty, and they're still in that train. Although Stappers has dropped back, obviously he's gone off track there. Obviously had a little bit of an issue. Dronig, though, still within that DRS to Erskine. Nicky Visser 1.8 seconds off the back of Hans van der Berg, and I've got to say, he's it's just, we were hoping that it was going to work out for him, but he had to come in and go onto those mediums. I don't think he had a choice there. If he'd had a choice, he probably would have gone onto the softs, wouldn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Van der Berg will have to come in again. I can't see his tyres doing well. We'll see, won't we? He's forcing his tyres now to do 25 laps.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got 15 to do. He's done 10. That's a push. Yeah, he could be in sort of puncture territory. De Bruyne, by the way, is really catching Bogart.
Well, De Bruyne's in. Both De Bruyne and Bogart are in. So De Bruyne clearly responding to Bogart. They're both into the pits. Now the question is Damie Hartman going to be able to get ahead of him? They're 23 seconds, the gap that he had. It's going to be pretty close. I think he should get out ahead of Bogart, and he might well split Bogart and De Bruyne, actually.
He could do.
Hartman coming round now. I'm sure he will. Split them. Yeah.
Such a long pit lane.
Damie Hartman does assume that first place. But is he going to stay ahead now? Yes, he does. So he gets ahead of Bogart and De Bruyne. So this is interesting territory now. Damie Hartman, 2.5 seconds ahead of Seb Bogart, but both Seb Bogart and Baz De Bruyne have gone on to a fresh set of soft tyres. Well, we've got 14 laps remaining. I don't think those mediums are going to go 34 laps. But
well, we saw John take him to.
We did actually, yeah. To be fair, we did, yes, and still doing some convincing lap times as well. I mean, could we see? Are we seeing now Damie Hartman pulling the proverbial white rabbit out of that magician's hat?
I think we may be. I think De Bruyne has lost an opportunity slightly. I think his heart may have sunk when he saw Bogart come into the pit ahead of him. I think he was hoping Bogart to do one more lap out on track, because now De Vrien's going to have to pass him on track.
Yes, that is very true indeed, and they are both on an equal set of tyres, and that is going to prove very interesting indeed. I mean, Bogart has already closed down that gap to Hartmann. I would expect he's going to be on his tail, if not by the end of this lap, certainly halfway through the following lap. It's not going to be too long before he's going to be riding the coattails of that Ferrari.
No, quite right. I'm just having a look at some of the penalties actually at the moment. Yeah, it looks like De Vrien's got a 6-second advantage over Bogart. Bogart's got 9 seconds of penalties and De Vrien has 3. As long as he stays within 6 seconds, he will. Well, I was going to say will win this race, but we've got Damien Hartmann leading it at the moment.
We have got Damien Hartmann leading at the moment, and this is going to prove very interesting indeed. So Damien Hartmann is leading this race, and I've got to say it's not a strong position, but it's a possible. It's possible that he could hold these guys off, but I'm sitting here really scratching my head trying to think how this could play out. I've got to be honest with you.
It's going to take some epic defensive driving from Hartmann if he is going to sort of find himself on the top of the podium at the end of this race.
Yes, I think you're
De Vrien's just gone purple. De Vrien's just gone purple first and second sectors.
He's under that second,
bringing the fight
importantly, to Hartmann as they come on to the start-finish straight. And fastest lap, Seb Bogart, and then beaten by Baz De Vrien with a 1:30.3. So these guys are definitely pushing, but Seb Bogart is now indeed on the tail of this Ferrari, and we've got 12 laps remaining. And to coin the phrase of my colleague here, Adrian, Damie definitely needs to do some epic defending if he's going to make this work for him. We've seen him do some superb defending before, I've got to say. So
we have.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just so switched on by the fact that John Donker was able to maintain the pace that he did on those 30-lap-old set of mediums, and it just makes me think, can Damie do it as well? Well, they're side by side. There's contact there between the Haas and the Ferrari as they were coming through Maggots, and he does get ahead of him. So
good control from both drivers, actually.
Well, great control, I've got to say, especially as they were going through Maggots into that Beckett section. So Seb Bogart gets past Damien Hartmann in the Ferrari. Next man down, Baz De Vrien. Now he is looking to get past Damien Hartmann as well. And now, if you're in Damie's shoes here, what do? You could risk it all and really give your competitors the advantage, or you could say, I'll tell you what, let me nurse these tyres, let's let him through. I won't make it too easy for him, but I'm not going to make it too difficult, and I'll take that third place on the podium, and at least I'll stay ahead in the championship.
Yeah, it's such a difficult call. As actually De Vrien's going to make quite an easy move. Down
makes
the
the move
straight.
Down the Wellington Straight as they come round Brooklands and into Luffield. And as I say, Damien Hartmann didn't really go defensive there. He sort of pretty much left the door open.
He's not stupid. He's not stupid, to be fair. And sorry, I've got the O's in sector 2. I don't know where that is. He's definitely a sensible driver. He knows that it's much better to take 15 points away from a race than it is to take none. Yeah. I mean, when he was leading just a couple of laps to go, I was about to say, these are going to feel like the longest 12 laps of his life, to be honest, because he won't want to have Bogart and De Vrien behind him for too long. But
if it stays this way, actually, I was just looking at the championship at this moment in time. if it stays this way, Bogart will actually overtake him and take that P1 position.
Yeah, be one point ahead.
1 point in it. So Bogart there'll literally be 1 point between them. So yeah, it's definitely a good move there from Damie Hartman. He's got Nicky Visser 10 seconds behind him and 10 laps. So now the ball is very much in the Mercedes driver's court, isn't it? Because he could potentially have that podium. We said earlier on, didn't we, that it was going to be a fight between these two for that third place on the podium, and that indeed is how it has panned out. But Visser, really, he needs to now start taking a second a lap out of Damie Hartman. Can he do it?
He's certainly got the ability. I'm just looking at his last lap time. I don't know whether he sort of been counted. There might have been a reason for that. He might have been the reason for the yellow flag we saw. His last lap was significantly slower than his lap before.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll keep an eye on his times for the remainder of this race. I mean, he is slowly but surely gaining on Damie, but I don't know if it's enough at this point.
Well, we will see, and anything can happen. Just as in real world F1 racing, I can assure you that it is very, very closely matched here on this F1 sim racing on the Xbox. You are with F1 Tonight, the only full race distance league. And I say it every week, and nobody has corrected me as yet. I am still waiting for somebody out there to tell me there's somebody else that races 100% on their league races, and they haven't come back to me. So these are the only ones, the F1 Tonight crew, and we are on season 5, race 10, halfway through this championship, and it is a critical race as we have it at this moment in time. Championship leader is Damie Hartman, second is Seb Bogart. If they stay in the positions they're in, Seb Bogart will lead the championship, but only by a single point. So it will be very, very close indeed going into the second half of this championship. But we are now looking at the fight for this P3 position between Nicky Visser and Damie Hartman. I've got to say, Nicky, back over 10 seconds, he isn't going to do it, is he?
Yeah, it seems to be just out of his reach, which is a real shame. I mean, his last lap was actually 2/10 faster than Damie's, but it's just not consistent enough in terms of the gains that he's making on him.
Mark
Yeah, so it's unfortunate.
Makes the move on John Donkel. On the Hanger straight, gets past that Renault and goes up into P5.
And look at his tyres as well, 24 lap old mediums versus John's 7 lap old softs. Is there something about an old set of mediums that it just finds so much extra speed?
I don't know what it is. You know, maybe they just find that sort of sweet spot. You know, that mid sort of range where you've just got the right heat, the right level of grip in there. But you know, the question is, how long does it last? We saw Donkel go deep into the 30s and fighting it out with Damie Hartman. So we could be seeing something similar here. But Donkel is coming back to Strappers on that Wellington straight as they're coming to Brooklands. We know that, oh yes, he gets past him. No, he doesn't. Strappers comes back as they're coming around Luffield. And this is somewhat a sense of deja vu here. John Donkel on the exit there of Woodcorp, being closely behind someone for the third time.
Yeah, remarkable. I'm just looking back at John Donkel's laps actually. I'm comparing his laps that he was doing when he was on the old, the 33 lap old mediums against his last couple of laps on these softs, and there's not very much in it. These are only sort of a tenth or two quicker than those that he was on earlier on when he was fighting with Damien Hartman.
Oh, I've got to say, it's phenomenal. Stappers is actually pulling away from him. The gap now is over a second. So Stappers is actually pulling away from John Donkel. I'm somewhat surprised by that. I've got to say, I'm wondering if Donkel maybe has some minor front wing damage. But I'm looking at that front wing, can't see anything. But this is somewhat odd.
Yeah, it's quite peculiar. A really great recovery from Stappers, though. I mean, I know he started the race P3, had a really awful first couple of laps, and found himself. It was about sort of P8 or P9.
He was, yeah.
You know, before even out of sort of single digits, and yeah, he's managed to pull it back to a very confident P5.
Well, we were saying earlier on that, Stappers has really been working very, very hard. He, as you say, he was up in that P4 in the grid from that Q3 session, and we were both sort of questioning, could he get a good start? Because he didn't have a great start last week either, and unfortunately, he didn't have a great start this week, and he really does need to work on those starts, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think if he can get those nailed down, he'll find himself easily on the podium. So it's certainly got the pace to do it, but it's just work on the starts.
Yeah, definitely. So a little bit of advice here from the commentary crew, Mark. Get those starts practiced out. You've got the qualifying down, you've got the racing down, you just need to get those starts sorted out. But John Donkel, I really don't know if he's got any damage. He's now 2.5 seconds behind Stappers. Is Stappers that fast?
Yes. Yes, I think he is.
There you have
a simple answer to
it's
that
official. Adrian confirms that Stappers is fast. So, yeah, he is motoring. Why couldn't he deliver this at the earlier stages of the race? Because I think it would have made such a difference.
Yeah, I think with Stappers, he does so much better as the fuel gets burnt up, and it's just sort of the last sort of 5 or 6 laps or so. It's just the first phase of the race, or the opening phase, and I don't know, he just sort of struggles with a heavy car.
Yeah, I was about to say, with that heavier weight, isn't it? Because it does alter the handling of the car immensely. I mean, how a car handles at the start of the race and at the end of the race, they're two completely different beasts, really.
Yeah, well, if you sort of take into account that a full fuel load weighs about 110 kilos, and these cars only weigh sort of 700 kilos dry anyway. So you're talking 1/7 of the overall car weight added into the car. Yeah. It's like having 4 people in your little Mini.
yeah. It is a hell of a difference, I've got to say. Yeah, you're absolutely spot on there. 4 people, 100 kilos.
No, comparatively, Mini weighs sort of about 1,200 kilos, and I'm talking about putting about 250 kilos in it.
Well, yeah, I was about to say, yeah. No, but exactly. Yeah. I mean, it does make such a difference, and a lot of times it's getting used to that difference in the car. It's an all-round thing. When you're looking at these 100% races, it's all great doing the qualifying. It's all great, when the car's sort of lean and mean, but you really need to get the practice and get the feel of that car when it's heavy. And I always prefer, I've got to say, not that I've been doing that much racing, nor have I done recently, but when I did, I always prefer to run my practices on heavy to start, just to get the feel for that car, because once you got used to it, you could really fly as you got leaner.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do as well. All my practice sessions, I do in sort of Grand Prix mode and things, because I tend not to do very much time trial. I'll always put sort of the full race fuel in, because at least then I know that this is going to be worst case scenario. Yeah. And I know that as the fuel gets burnt up, I'll get more and more traction and better lap times.
Well, we are on lap 48 of 52. 4 laps remaining, soon to be 3 laps. Seb Bogart leads the way in the Haas. He's coming up on the tail runner of Miguel Torni in the Red Bull at the moment as he comes up to Stowe. Bas the Breen, 2.5 seconds behind him in the Renault, currently P2. Damie Hartman in the Ferrari is P3. He's 8.5 seconds down the road from those guys. Nicky Visser has closed the gap. He's got 4 laps remaining and nearly 7 seconds. I still don't think he's going to make it unless Damie makes some sort of error on track. Mark Stappers, though, look at this. He's up to P5. As we know, he made that move on John Donkel, and he's made it stick, gotta say. He's, 1.6 seconds ahead of John Donkel. He did start, as we said, in that second row, P3, so he has dropped down 2 positions, but he was a lot further down the field, so good race from him. John Donkel, though, started P11, let's not forget. He is up to P6, so he's jumped 5 places. Peter Phillips in the Toro Rosso, as always. Peter does his own thing. He hasn't got involved in anything. We haven't mentioned him too much, but a good solid race from him. He is solidly in that midfield week in, week out, isn't he?
Yeah, he's done really well to sort of keep himself in the fight. There's some good points he's going to pick up from this, and he's just been improving, and obviously, it's kind of a bit of a positive cycle, isn't it? The better you do, the more confidence you get, and the more confidence you get, the better you'll do. So, no fair play to him.
Well, I'm expecting to see a lot out of Peter, I think, for season 6. I mean, I know he's going to do well in this season 5. He is doing well in season 5, but I think he could well come to bear fruit for next season. It's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. Hans van der Berg, though, he's down in P8. Hasn't worked out for him, has it? Unfortunately, he had to come in, and obviously he's gone on to those. Is he still on those mediums? No, he has come in and gone to the softs.
Yeah, he went on to.
So.
Yeah, he went on to set soft tyres at lap 40 to try and sort of make some ground. Perhaps the medium tyre wasn't comfortable. But it's a shame to see him down there. I thought he might have been a bit further up the field. Might just be a track he doesn't like, to be fair.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. But he has put in a solid race and certainly some solid driving. But let's not discount this Williams driver. He is a force to be reckoned with, and I am sure we will see a lot more of him up in those front rows as time moves on. Guido Airshine, well, he's dropped down 2 places. He was in P7. I was saying that he was maintaining that P7 nicely, but he's dropped down a couple of places, but he's still in the points. He's in P9, and that's the important thing. He's still going to pick up some points today, isn't he?
Yeah, he's done really well, and thoroughly deserved of those those few championship points he's going to pick up from this race. Yeah, that was again just going to do his confidence some real good, and I think he might move up a spot in the leaderboard. I know it's quite sort of tight.
It is very tight in that midfield at this moment in time in the championship as it stands, but I think you're right. I think he will move up there. We'll have a look at the points at the end of this session. Marcel Dronig in the Haas, he's in P10, final points runner there. Hasn't quite gone his way. He did start P8, and he was a lot further up that field, certainly during those pit stops, etc. He was looking quite solid, but dropped back down again, and he's in P10. And we've got Marco Pullen, teammate to Guido Airshine. He is at the moment ahead of him in the leaderboard, but I've got a sneaking suspicion that Airshine is what we were talking about, will jump up, and I think to P8 or 9, I think it will be, probably be P9 actually. And Miguel Torni in the Red Bull there, bringing up the rear at this moment in time. He's pretty much done his own thing. He's not been the fastest, just out of the points though. I think he's going to be a little bit disappointed that he hasn't picked up any points today.
Yeah, Yeah, it's a bit of a shame for him. Yeah, he'll be a little bit. Well, he will be disappointed with his result here.
Yeah,
But
definitely. But stay in there. We've
yeah,
seen
move
some
on.
good racing from him. He just hasn't. I don't think this season he's just not been able to get comfortable with that Red Bull. He was formerly with Toro Rosso, so moved up to the Red Bull team, but he hasn't seemed to get the best out of this Red Bull as he did with the Toro Rosso, has he?
No, just yeah. Not sure what it is. Yeah, it's like again. I talk about this cycle. As much as scoring points and doing well can boost your confidence. Not doing so well can have again a negative effect, and it's a vicious cycle that it's difficult to escape. But yeah, he's just got to keep his head up and and just keep focused.
Indeed. Well, we are now running on board with Seb Bogart as he comes down the national pit straight. Round Cops. This is his final lap, and Seb Bogart will be picking up the win for this Silverstone Grand Prix. And great race from him, certainly. Baz the Breen, he will be picking up second place, but let's watch Seb now as he comes out of Stowe down into the final set of corners. As he comes round club onto the start, finish straight and takes the win. Seb Bogart for Haas. But oh no, he doesn't. Sorry, the points. Baz the Breen takes the win. So Seb Bogart's points have played against him, and we forgot about that. Baz the Breen, there's only 3 seconds in it, but due to points, he comes out the winner. So Baz the Breen picks the win, and that really has changed things round, because that means Seb Bogart only picks up 18 points, and Damie Hartman picks up the 15 points, which means that he actually stays ahead of Seb Bogart and maintains the championship lead. Nicky Visser finishes fourth. Mark Stappers will pick up P5. John Donkel will be P6. Although that said, I think they might swap again due to points. Let's keep an eye on this. Yes, they do. John Donkel picks up P5. Peter Phillips picks up P6, and I thought Mark Stappers had a few points there. Mark Stappers drops down to P7. Hans van der Berg is P8. Guido Airshine P9. Marcel Dronig does stay just within the points. I think picks up P10. Oh, he picks up P9, sorry. So, yeah, there are a few changes.
Yeah, a few switches.
Those lead there. So let's have a quick look at that table now. Oh, no, let's see the guys on the podium first. Baz the Breen, he's going to be smiling from ear to ear, isn't he, that Renault driver? He pips his old teammate right at the end there, and it was down to points. Seb Bogart gets second place on the podium, but more importantly, Damie Hartman, third on the podium, maintains his championship lead.
Yeah, it's really good stuff. De Bruyne, all he had to do was stay within 6 seconds of Bogart, and he did it.
He did indeed. And I'm just going to have a quick look here. Rob Mouldring obviously stays on the 101, so that's 89. Yep, so this is the championship as it stands at the moment. Tom, let's have a quick look at the results there. So Baz the Breen picks up the win, Seb Bogart second, Damie Hartman third, Nicky Visser fourth, John Donkel fifth, Peter Phillips sixth, Mark Stappers 7, Hans van der Berg 8, 9 Marcel Dronig, 10 Guido Airshine. So Guido did get in the points there. Marco Pullen 11, and Miguel Torney was 12, and Boy Williamson DNF'd. But in that championship, Damie Hartman leads the way now on 142 points. Seb Bogart is 6 points behind him on 136. Third is now Baz the Breen on 114 as he overtakes Rob Mouldring and drops Rob Mouldring down into fourth place. John Donkel obviously moves up into, or maintains rather, that 5th place. Well, fantastic race there, wasn't it, Adrian? That and certainly a great finish there. Not quite what we expected, but we did forget about those points. We knew that he had them.
Yeah, yeah, they play such a big part, especially when you're fighting for every opportunity that you can, and people do make mistakes. They go off track, and that we saw Bogard get a 3-second penalty within the first 3 laps, which I don't think I've seen any driver do all season. So yeah, that cost him.
Well, that certainly did cost him. There's no two ways about that. Now, we have a little decision to make, and I've got to be honest with you, I haven't checked whether we've actually been having any discussion with regards to this.
Check your phone. Probably a good idea.
You've done it in the wrong one there. Okay, yeah. Right, okay.
All the suspense.
Okay, it is tense, I've got to say. God almighty. It is tense, I've got to say. But I've got to say, I'm going to go with Damie, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good call.
I'm going to go with Damie because fantastic recovery, as you quite rightly put there. He didn't really get the quality that he wanted. He was in P6. Went for that one stop, didn't work out, but that was inspired. He definitely pulled the rabbit out of the hat there, and it was definitely a fight between him and Nicky Visser, I think for that DOD as well. But I've got to say, I think Damie pipped it for this one here at Silverstone. So driver of the day goes to Damie Hartman for Ferrari.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thoroughly deserved. As we said, he went for the one stop. That was that was in his mind how he was going to try and win this race. And to be fair, that he almost made it. He almost pulled it off. Started quite a poor, a poor by his standards P6. I said he was sort of out of position. But yeah, he's done very well to really, again, this is twice in a row now, just really reduce the damage that done to his championship fight. So yeah, he's still leading the championship at the moment.
He is still leading the championship, and it is a real fight because he has got some real stiff competition there with the likes of Seb Bogart, Basterbreen, Rob Mouldering. And obviously John Donkel in the mix as well there, a little bit in the background. Nicky Visser coming through as well. All good, high-quality drivers. So, yeah, well played, good strategy, good racing. And, fantastic overall, I've got to say. Hope that you enjoyed it. Next week, we are going to be at the Hockenheimring in Germany. And that's going to be for race 11 of the season, so starting the second half of this season. So expect thrills, spills, and a lot more besides. We will be looking, I'm sure, at a full race card for next week. So it's going to be interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it will be. I'm looking forward to it. I quite like. I really despise Hockenheim to drive.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah. I love the old one.
It's one of my least favourite tracks, I've got to say, but it is a really challenging track, certainly for a GP series, without any doubt. Right, well, we'll say goodnight. We'll see you again next week. Same time, same place. Other than it's obviously going to be in Germany. But anyway, we hope you've enjoyed it. So, good night from myself.
Yeah, and it's good night from me.
And good night from us all. Take care. See you next week.